ask the same thing on the defensive side.
You know, not to sound like a broken record, but I really think it comes back to line of scrimmage and stopping the run. Again, the Gamecocks were top 10 in the country nationally in pass defense. If you would have told me that before the season, Mark, I would have said you were crazy because you lost J.C. Horn, Israel Mukwamu, John Dixon, Jamie Robinson, guys that had transferred from a defense that was one of the worst in the country at pass defense. And it's really a testament to Clayton White, Torian Gray, what they did on that side, really transforming that aspect of the game for Carolina. Jalen Foster balls out at safety and has a big year. If it's not going to be run defense, because again, here's the thing, Brad Lawing, former Gamecocks defensive line coach, he told me, Chris, as a defensive coach, you never want to brag about pass defense. And you know why? Because all you're telling people is you can't stop the run. And you look at the numbers, South Carolina couldn't stop the run. Teams did not have to throw. So that's one of the reasons why the Gamecocks were so good at pass defense. If I'm not going to say just stopping the run, though, I think, Mark, my biggest question for this defense this season, because, you know, I think it's a testament, again, to Clayton White, and I love Clayton White. I think he's awesome, and I'm so glad he's a Gamecock. I'm so glad he's our DC. But everyone's just assuming, okay, defense is going to be elite. Once we fix the offense, we're winning 10 games. Defense will be elite. It's just a given, right? My biggest question is this. You lose Jalen Foster, who had 6 interceptions last year, was one of the best in the SEC, if not the best at creating turnovers. And this defense benefited greatly by the amount of turnovers it forced. Mark, as you know, turnovers, I don't want to say they're luck, but it's a lot of right place, right time, you know, good fortune, the ball bouncing your way. If South Carolina's not able to get those turnovers at the rate in which they did last year, are they still going to be a good enough defense to hold up and give South Carolina a chance to win ball games? Because you look at last year and how often turnovers change games. I mean, I think the play of the season that nobody really talks about, in that East Carolina game, South Carolina is down and out going into halftime. And what happens? Damani Staley gets a pick 6 to score. It changes the whole feel of that game for South Carolina. They come back in the second half and win. You look at Troy right before halftime. The Gamecocks, that's a really close game. David Spalding, defensive back, gets a pick 6, changes that game. The Gamecocks, it felt like whenever they needed a turnover, they were able to get it. And I just wonder, you lose Foster, and I think there's still a lot of talented players in that defense, but losing Foster now, who's going to be that big play guy in the secondary? Who's going to be that big play guy on the defense that creates and gets those turnovers? Because, again, you depended on them a lot last year. You did. And we saw this. I don't mean to compare this regime to the past regime, but we saw that under Will Muschamp in 2017, right, where South kind of sort of rode a smoke and mirrors type performance on defense to a 9-win season. And it was capped off by beating Michigan in the Outback Bowl when you forced 5 turnovers. And a couple of those, Michigan just literally handed you the football. So again, Mark, my question going into this season, I love Clayton White, love Torian Gray. I think they've almost earned the benefit of the doubt from Gamecock fans, but are you going to be able to duplicate what you did last year? Are you going to be able to force that amount of turnovers? Can you make a living depending on turnovers like that, right? Because if you're not able to stop the run, it's going to open up the pass for people. And if you're not able to get those interceptions you got last year, I think the defense, I don't think they take a step back, a major step back, even if that happens, but I'm not sure they're that dominant unit that fans are expecting. So outside of the run defense, that's my biggest question. Can you be as opportunistic as you were a year ago?